Today I'm on the Vareslaki trail. It is extremely windy. Temperature is about 9 degrees Celsius. With this wind it feels like about 6. Today's trail takes us along the shores of Pyhäjärvi Lake and then up onto the fell called Vareslaki and then back down to the shores of the lake again. Today I thought I'd give my feet a rest and change my shoes. I had initially planned to wear my heavier Loa Ranger boots, but I decided to go for the lighter option and go for my Ultra Lone Peak mid all-weather boots instead. I hope they're going to be a lot more comfortable. The only downside compared to the shoes I've been wearing all week, the Ultra Lone Peak 9 Pluses, is of course that these shoes have got the Max Track soles, which aren't as durable. Until Sophie. Pyhä means sacred or holy, and in Lapland, indeed as in all of Finland, there are quite a few places that are called Pyhämaa, sacred land, Pyhäjärvi, sacred lake. Up in Lapland there are fells or tunturit called Pyhätunturi. Up here the indigenous Sami used to worship these places as sacred, and now I've witnessed some of its beauty. I can see why. The way the fells rise up above the surrounding forested swamps and have no vegetation on at all, and then in winter when they're covered in snow they just gleam white in the sunshine and can be seen from miles and miles and miles away. So yeah, it makes sense. So here we are at the Pyhäjärvi Wilderness Hut, and yeah, it's been here for a while judging by how worn the wood is. Let's have a quick look inside. Okay, oh, this is cute. So as usual, very large sleeping platform on one side, a table and chairs, there's a shelf for some bits and pieces and some cups and things, and then there's also open fireplace, and of course if you go back out again there is a wood shed there with wood available and the usual dry toilets available over there. Now begins the climb away from the lake and up the fell. As is usual, we'll be in forestry for a while and then slowly it'll thin out and eventually we should be just on bare broken rock. The path currently is fairly uneven, stony, and with lots of tree roots. Stop for a quick break. About 4 kilometers done, and I'm starting to approach the tree line from below. I suspect I'll be out on the open area fairly soon. Build up a bit of sweat. The mesh gear is something to keep me fairly cool, although I have a wet patch on my back where the rucksack has been touching. It's to be expected. It's surprising how much the trees give protection from the wind. I suspect it's going to be fairly windy once I get above the tree line. I might have to use my outer shell jacket just to stay warm and slow down the cooling process. But I guess we'll see when we get up there. For now, it's going to be some trail mix with some chocolate thrown in. Keep me going. So, a lot of the path is this broken stone, and yeah, you have to have your wits about you. See what your feet are doing, otherwise you could easily slip or stumble and twist an ankle. I lost the trail already once on the way up here, and strikes me that this would not be a good place to be in if it was foggy. So I managed to find a little spot just out of the wind to have a little break. Now my coffee is ready. So here's a Finnish delicacy known as a monkey. And basically it's a donut that's been deep fried and then coated in sugar. And usually it has jam inside. It's delicious with a cup of coffee, and yeah, it probably contains about 10,000 calories. So it isn't the healthiest of food, but oh, boy God, does it go down well when you're out in the field, hiking or camping. So I'm back to Pyhäjärvi again, and I've completed the trail. There is a kotta shelter here with a woodshed and dry toilets, and I noticed actually that the trail continues at the top end of Pyhäjärvi Lake and continues across the other side. And yeah, to enable you to get from one side to the other, there is a small boat ferry. So you can see the small little rowing boat over there, and it's set up on a pulley system, so you basically just pull it across and then you can continue on up through the woods on the other side. Brilliant. Here is the aforementioned kotta shelter with a central fire pit, place where you can take a shelter and cook some food. And this building here is the woodshed with an axe inside. Dry toilets are the building in behind. There is something very nice about a nice fire. Light and the heat, especially when there's strong winds outside. It feels very cozy in here. Okay, so I think I'll finish it here and call it a day. Thanks very much for joining me on the trail. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. From the Vareslaki Loop Trail in Lapland, this is Kevin signing off. All the best. Moi moi.